Oh, wrong one. Wait. That's wrong. That's wrong. What happened?
Mac OS operating system. Mac, though, is just like my ugly duckling. You know, it's like something that's like, well, it's there. Hadn't died yet. But God, is it ugly. And so I've done linutil, which I'm very proud of, and Mac WinUtil. Obviously, a lot of people know WinUtil, and I've tried MacUtil. I'm having a little bit of an existential crisis today about MacUtil. Last stream, just to recap things, I gotta tell you, the design of Apple, just in general, you gotta really just take what Apple gives you and be fine being spoon-fed it. And using official Apple everything. And if anybody's followed me for any period of time, you know that is just like not me at all. And we sat there for about 2 hours the last stream on macOS Util, and it's awful. It's just awful for system configuration from a system stating standpoint. Full automation of Mac and setting it up in a far different manner than what Mac intends requires you, the user, to have a lot of interactivity with the settings menu, whether that's going into privacy, security, and most Mac OS users will totally agree with me here. You know, it's just something that you just get used to with the Mac. Oh, you want to have a program right into your home directory. Well, you got to give it access to that. Oh, you want it to drop it into wherever. You got to give access to that. Oh, you want it to auto start. Make sure you go into your system settings and then click toggle for auto start. There's no reason for this, but Apple wants you to do it. And that's the reason why Mac users do this. It's not intuitive. It's not something that should be the case, but Apple says this is what's secure, and we want all our users to do this. I hate being told what to do. I just do. And this is exactly that. And when I was writing the MacUtil, I was like, okay, well, we first did it in like F#, and I was like, oh, this is cool, whatever. And we did like a pseudo terminal, and I could interface, and we could do stuff with like Homebrew pretty easily. But a lot of the settings I noticed weren't taking effect, especially in Sonoma and beyond. And that's because it's by design. Mac wants to limit those down to be interactive experiences and not automated. So I can't just change a bunch of your system settings, even though it would tell you what I'm doing. You physically have to be taken to that page. Well, I can take you to the page, but you still got to click on it. Even when I was like, okay, well, screw this, let's just do some tests, and I just pulled up Swift, which is Mac's programming language, and even in Swift, it was like, hey, yeah, before Sonoma, you could do those defaults. You could set the defaults relatively easily using universal access. If you know, you know. That's no longer the case. You know, in the last couple iterations of Mac, they basically said, nah, we don't want you changing any system settings through command line. You have to use your mouse like a freaking caveman and click it. This might be a bridge too far for me. I think I might just have to give up on the MacUtil. Because that design, it's stupid. It's just stupid. There's no other way of putting it. I can't, I'm not going to sit there and design something to where it pops up the page and says, click the button, click the right toggle here. Here's the arrow. I used to be able to just do this with one command, like in Windows or Linux, you know, sane operating systems. God, you know it's bad when I'm saying Windows is more sane than Mac here. But why? Why? I just, security? I'm sorry. If a Mac user told me that's secure, I'd be going to prison right now. I'd just slap the living hell out of you. What? That's not secure. That's just stupid. So anyways, that's my take on the Mac Util right now. I'm having a little bit of a hard time continuing development on it. I'm just like, hey, system utility for Mac. I envy, and I literally will tip my hat, and I literally will not make fun of any developer for Mac that designs a system utility for Macintosh or macOS, whatever the hell you want to call that piece of shit. It's just insane to me what they've done. And they've done it in recent years, and it is just crazy. I would rather deal with Windows Copilot shit than that. That's bad. That's just bad. Sorry, I had to rant a little bit there at the start. Tone it down. Just calm. I was sitting here, so I was starting to stream, and I was like, okay, macOS Thursday. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm like getting rid of my Mac or anything. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I don't know if I can continue development on the Mac Util. These are just not great design choices. And I don't want to design a program that's not great. And I don't ever see it being great when that's the design of it. But then again, you know, I think Mac users might disagree with me here. They might be like, you know what, we're all conditioned to pull up privacy and security and toggle all that crap on every single time we want to change anything in our system. And system settings does have a search feature. We can just search for it. Like, yeah, you can. I guess when you install a new Mac, you can just do that. I don't know. I think this is the face of just a defeated man. Just complete, utter disappointed and defeated all at the same time based on the last stream. And I'm like almost dreading hitting live today, but I was just like, no, we're still doing it. But I don't know. But I will say, I still like Final Cut Pro. And honestly, Affinity Photo, top notch. I still like those two programs. And I'm trying to think of something else more positive. I don't want to be just negative Nancy over here. So, you know, Mission Control is not as bad as I thought it would be. But as far as setting up a full-blown utility and stuff, I don't know. I think we might switch out Thursday for DWM-Titus. Let's get on the desktop and talk some more. Now that I've gotten all off my chest, you kind of know where we've gone, where we are, where we're going is a little bit of an unknown. I feel better. So, whew. I think we might go 2 Linux days though, unless there's something pressing in Mac. Unless somebody that's using Mac can just say, Titus, just use this tool. Which, I mean, honestly, a lot of people have, you know. I really do enjoy some of the tooling on Mac. Some of the software, I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. But a lot of it, I'm just like, from Apple's perspective, I'm beside myself. So let's get on the desktop. Enough chatter. I'm going to grab a drink and we will get going. Oh, man, alive. I tell you what. Kind of wild.
Whew.
All right. All right. Let us go. Long intro. But I still have Mac pulled up here. I still got it going. Frustration, a little bit. I think we take a poll. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let you all decide. What are we doing today? Because I don't know what we're gonna do in Mac. What's that look like? Man, I have a hard time depending on the day and what I'm trying to do. There's times when Mac makes sense to me. Like, I'm finishing up the Linux book, and believe it or not, I think I probably will use, not Affinity Photo. I think Affinity has a publisher, and I'm actually going to pull that book in to Publisher and design some aspects of it. So that's pretty good. Make Hyperland work on Mac now. Like, you have Aerospace and you buy that does a decent job, but I've said it a lot of times, Liam, when it comes to Mac, those two are not bad, but any tiling window manager in anything but Linux feels like a second-class citizen. Now, a lot of the Mac people only know of Omarchy from DHH because he was such a big Mac user and proponent, and he has a very sizable social following as well. So I tried Omarchy for a bit, and I thought it was very impressive. I think it was a very user-friendly tiling window manager, which has never really gone together ever in the past. But I didn't like a lot of the choices that were made, and I don't really like Hyperland with Wayland as a base. I've really been a big proponent of Xorg, which is completely different from Wayland, with DWM, because it's more minimal, everything's smaller, everything works faster, it's more performant, and it has less bugs for me. So that's why I always choose that in comparison for my main daily driver, which you'll probably get to see that here in a little bit. But let's I don't even think I need to do a poll here, but let's do a poll just in case there's some lurkers in chat, non-vocal people that want to vote. I think we do it. I'm gonna just go on my other screen here, and I'm gonna put together this, and then we'll put it to the test. Mac or Mac configs or DWM-Titus in Linux. Mac configs, DWM-Titus. You decide. Here we go. Let's create the poll, and you guys can just vote as you see fit. 1 second. Now, a lot of people want me to do it. Like, there's YouTube people. There's another thing about Mac, different paste key. I will never get used to that. But let's post these in. I know I could do respective polls in each one. Actually, I think maybe we do that. But here, I'm gonna paste that. I will vote. Now I'm gonna let that go for a minute or two while everyone does it, and we will take a look at what we got. Oh, we got more Mac votes than I thought. So yeah. I don't know. Gotta go Mac config for the pain streams. I know, everybody loves seeing me suffer. There is some enjoyment value there. And honestly, with pain, like as much as I like to complain, with it, typically, if you're suffering a little bit, it feels like you're learning as well. You learn something, and it's good. I do think I might replace Thursday Mac streams, though. I don't know. I really want to finish DWM, but it's not that I completely have disregarded Mac, though. I still got my MacBook, and I still take that into work all the time. So it's not like I don't use Mac. I just don't use it like I use my Linux. My Linux is what I use. What is my split these days? The split these days are probably 70% Linux, 20% Windows, 10% Mac, I think, from a time perspective. It's something like that. Yeah. How many app Macs do you all use? What are everybody's favorite applications for Mac? Mine so far, just to kind of lay them out, would be this one, which is Raycast. Raycast does a great job. You can set up specific hotkeys to launch applications. I don't think I use Rectangle. I think I built Rectangle's, a lot of its functionality is built into Raycast as well. So I use that quite often. So Raycast is a big one. For this, I do Mission Control a lot, and I like having my desktops kind of lined out here. I have another monitor with desktop 1. And I can switch all this up. I did use Ubuy and Aerospace for a little bit, but there were some little nuances and bugs that I didn't like, and it didn't feel very cohesive from a window manager standpoint. And I think it's just because I've been spoiled by Linux when it comes to window management. It just does it better. So I ended up just saying, screw it. We're going to go with the stock Apple Mission Control. And then I did something, I think this was called Spaces. This is a free software on Homebrew. That was when I needed a remote in. Shotter is another one. I think this is a free software as well on Mac. Great for screenshots. So if you're doing screenshots on Mac, highly recommend Shotter. I think it does a very good job. I think that's about it. Let's look at my startup here too, just so everyone gets a good feel of what all I'm doing. Software I use on the daily for Mac. And where is the startup? Probably gonna be, let's just do a search, because I'm always like, I do not know where the hell they put that. All right, here it is. It's under login items, extensions, open a login. What do we got? We got display link manager. That's for my dock. Raycast, Shotter, Space ID was the other one. We don't need Steam. What else do we have? Google Updater. Let's turn that off. I don't. Logi options. Meh. Microsoft licensing crap. That's mostly for work. Motion VFX for my FCP. Steam Clean. What the hell is that? I guess that's just it's a plist from Valve. It's kind of weird. Let's turn that off. And Simless, that's the Synergy, which I use to go between different systems. So pretty bare bones system. I do switch out kind of a little bit of an animation there between spaces, but not too bad. I've got it to a point where it's like very functional for me. I can use it, but I don't necessarily enjoy it. It's functional, it's reliable. I don't have to worry about it, but not great. Yeah, how's it going over on YouTube? Obvious point between being cheaper. How does Shotter compare to Snagit? I don't think I've used Snagit. I've only tried. I used the stock one from Mac, and I really didn't enjoy that. Installed Shutter, ran into that pretty quick, and then I was just like, oh, well, this does everything I need to do. So then I just kind of stuck with Shutter, because when you do a screenshot, let me just do one real fast. Let's just take that one. It has really good edit capabilities, so it kind of pulls this in, so then you can highlight stuff and go, okay, cool, I need that. You can crop, you can freehand draw, you can do text, you can just copy to clipboard or save, and then you're good to go. So for me, Shutter just was perfect. That's exactly what I needed. On Linux, I use Flameshot. It has a very, very similar, if not identical, interface. Maybe it doesn't have that Mac aesthetic to it, but does the exact same thing. So I really enjoy Shutter for this aspect, because this is what I use in every operating system. On Windows, I like to use ShareX. I love ShareX. That's a great, very, very featured, full design. I would say almost too many features with ShareX, but I do enjoy Shutter and Flameshot a little bit more on the respective operating systems. Yeah, so no, I think looking at them, every operating system has its benefits. Ghosty is also Bud, my favorite too. Absolutely love it. Let's see, do a Quicksilver, Mom, type it for me, Swift Bar, Solver, Macy, and Ina. Ina's a big one for me. So that's what you use to do video. So instead of doing VLC, Ina is what you're gonna want. I don't even know if VLC is for Mac, but I know I had problems playing MOV files and ProRes. VLC fell on its face. I hate VLC, honestly. I think VLC just sucks. I think it's way overhyped, terrible on every operating system. And I know Windows users in chat are going to be like, oh my God, VLC is a god. It is the best ever. I install that stupid caution code on every single install, Titus. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, whatever, dude. You drank the Kool-Aid. I don't like VLC on any operating system. If I'm on Windows, I'm using MPC. If I'm on Linux, I'm usually doing celluloid or just straight up MPV. That's better. And then on Mac, I'm using Ina. 100%. What's better than VLC? Anything. That's what I'm saying. Does Ina play discs? I think I know it does a lot better on the encoding and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my thought. MPV or MPC, HC, agreed. I really like MPV. It's very, very good. So that's my just videos and video encoders in a nutshell. Sorry, can you repeat what you said instead of VLC on Win Linux? MPV is probably the best for Linux. I like to use celluloid for a front end on Linux. For Windows, MPC HC is kind of my jam. I really, really like MPC. It kind of brings me back to the Windows XP era, back when, it was all kind of, I don't know, minimal and good. And I really like MPC. It loads up fast. It has a better integration with a lot of the encoding, I think. So like when I go to play stuff, it works a lot better. Same when my main gripe with like VLC on here is like it plays ProRes just absolutely awful. So I'm trying to think of what else I use. I want to say I was doing Shutter encoder is another one. Let me pull it up. So I use this all the time. This is free software on Mac as well. As you can tell, I really do like my free stuff. Shutter encoder is a very, very good one. So sometimes I'll make opacity generated MOV files that I need to pass things through, or I want to do layering with video. And Shutter, I can convert like MOV or ProRes stuff down into like a WebM file with a opacity. So I could drag and drop the file in. I usually would come into here, go into my encoding, and go into, oh geez, what was I using? I think it was like V9. Yeah. There it was. I just saw it. Yeah, VP9. So usually I would pull in that MOV file with the alpha layer and everything. And then I come in here, I'd usually go to like advanced features, enable an alpha channel with the VP9. And then I'd convert it to for the output, I would do WebM. And then I would just do this using Shutter encoder. And then I would have really compressed, good, layering stuff with alpha channels in video format. So I would do that all with Shutter encoder. So yeah, if you do see this, I do need to donate to him. I have not yet. 25H2. Yeah, I need to, I think next Tuesday we'll probably install a 25H2. We're going to let it cook for a little bit. It's been a little bit of a mixed reception so far. Klopp, thanks for joining the YouTube streamer members. So yeah, but no, it's been great in that respect. FFmpeg front end. I think FFmpeg pretty much runs the world at this point, so very important. Sorry to be breaking your schedule. You should finish the Windows quiz. Yeah, not today. Not today. I don't feel like it, man. Any suggestion for a to-do list application? A new hire onboarding and training purposes. You know, I want to do something in that regard because I was using Super Productivity. So this is what I'm using right now. Let's go Super Productivity. I've been trying to do something like this. It's been all right. But, you know, it does like the Eisenhower matrix for like, you know, so you can properly put stuff. You know, I got 25H2 launch that we'll look at probably next Tuesday. I need to revamp the offline functionality in WinUtil. Still haven't gotten around to that. And then MacUtil stuff, I still am like, I don't know if we're going to continue with MacUtil. I'm on the fence just based on my last week's revelations. So this is not bad. I don't think I'm going to continue it though. I don't think it's for me. Now you can just do standard Kanban boards like right here. That would be sufficient. I almost want to try Obsidian again. I did a video on Obsidian like 3 years ago or something, and Obsidian's was good. There was another open source tool I was also thinking about using. Let me pull in a new browser here. Oh, here was the poll from earlier, by the way. DWM-Titus won out 60% to 40. That was a lot closer than I thought, surprisingly. So probably would look at, what am I going to go here? Joplin FOSS notes. JoplinApp.org. So this is another one I wanted to try out. I thought this was kind of an interesting free one that you could do syncs to like a local storage. You don't have to buy. The thing I hate is all subscription services. So anything that's a subscription service, it immediately is like, nope. So I won't ever use Notion. I won't ever use Evernote or any of that crap. One, I don't even think they're very good products, but two, I definitely don't want to be paying someone $5 or $10 a month to the end of time until I die. That just does not have any appeal to me, especially for something like a note app. It just seems silly. So Yeah, I was thinking about this, actually. I thought this was kind of a cool one I wanted to try out. Instead of using super productivity, I want to see how this one worked. I think it could be fun. So if we download the app, it's on Mac, Linux, Windows, and it's also in the Android store. So the big thing is I kind of want to make sure I have it on the go as well. So that's another one. What else do we have? Just use a text file. I'd use Markdown, honestly. Yeah. I'm not gonna abandon MacUtil yet. I was just like frustrated is all. I feel like I need to take a different tact, a different way of setting defaults. It's just how Mac has reiterated changing system settings the last couple years is a bit aggravating. And I need to think on it a little bit longer on how to approach it. So let's install Joplin here. Let's see. Let's go. Applications. No. Applications. Joplin. So this is kind of the look of Joplin from a nodes perspective. That looks kind of cool. So you'd have your notebooks, you'd have your tags to sort things by. That might work for me. I don't know. Workflowy. What's workflowy? Regular calendar not good? No, because mine things aren't usually set on a date or a timeline. It's just when I get done. And essentially that's kind of what I got. I'm using a proper Mac right now. This is an M4 Air. Actually not a bad deal. About I think I got it for about 800. Brand new, which you can't really beat. Oh, workflow is this is not free. Oh wait, no, you got basic free forever. 100 monthly item limit. No, I'm out. I'm out on workflowy. Nope. I want to store that stuff in my own servers. That's where Joplin comes in. Like Joplin, super productivity, you can do it on your own. So that's kind of my thoughts. Obsidian. What's Obsidian look like these days? It's been a little bit since so that's Joplin. We're just going to install them all. Why not? Obsidian. What platforms do we have? We have Mac. You got Android, iOS, Windows. Now, if you go this route, like the sync, it's $4 a month. But I want to say you could just host this yourself. Because I don't think they do any kind of... I don't think they gate you in. And it's just Markdown, so it wouldn't be that bad. Yeah, Obsidian is closed source, which, I'm okay with. I don't really mind stuff being open or closed. It's more about the company behind them. And they've usually been pretty straightforward with everything. And I think, let's see. Before I say, let's just download it and see. They could always lock you in. But I mean, it's a Note app. I don't really care. It's not like it's critical to my business or anything. Obsidian. Let's keep that in dock. All right, so Obsidian, you have vaults, so you could create a new vault. Create a local vault, choose a location. I guess you could just do it in like a Dropbox or self-hosted Obsidian. What's the accepted method these days for this? I almost want to use Dropbox for that because I hate Dropbox, but I know I'm not going to store much, and I don't ever use my Dropbox for anything. Oh, but Dropbox has a limitation of devices now, so nobody uses Dropbox anymore. I remember back when that was good. It got ruined. I could do a VPN to my home network and just store it on like a NAS. Git repo. Sync thing. It's a plugin. Ooh, what do we got here? Phoenix sent us something. Integrate Git oh my word. What the hell? Now this might be the single I was worried about not going live today. So I was like, I'm just not feeling it, but this is why I go live. This looks amazing. A powerful community plugin for Obsidian Markdown. It brings Git integration right into your vault. Automatically commit, pull, push, and see your changes all within Obsidian. Hell yes. What? Oh, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Version control as well. Diff view? What? Now this is the single coolest thing I think I've seen in a minute. Wow. That's cool. Okay, so how's mobile support? That was my next question. Very unstable. To be expected, I suppose. I wouldn't use the plugin on mobile, but try other syncing services. One such as Git Sync, which is available on Android and iOS. It's not associated with this plugin, but may be a better option for mobile users. Here's a tutorial for setting it up. Okay. So probably would go with the Git Sync, and then that way you could still pull in the repo, which would be where all your notes would be. Well, that's pretty darn cool. Yeah, I'm sure we could. Like, either way, I kind of want to just see. I don't want to obviously do mobile today, but we could set this up. I kind of want to try this out because this looks cool. So set up. Depending on your device, it may crash on clone pull, blah, 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 run indefinitely. That's fine. GitHub is not a syncing service. I know, but a lot of us use it as such. So let's go installation. Settings, community, browse, search Git, enable it. Obsidian Git, latest version. Okay. Is it that simple? Can we just... What was it? Settings, community, plugins. Okay. So let's go to settings. Can we get into settings from here, or do we have to create a vault? Obsidian.
I think we're gonna have to get into the app. All right. Yeah, need a vault first. All right, let's just name this CTT. Where are we gonna put it? Let's put it in documents. Okay. And this is gonna be our new vault. So let's look for settings, community plugins. Settings. Community plugins. Turn on. Turn on and reload. Okay. Oh, oops. My bad. All right. Then let's do. Oh, Excel Draw. That I love that one. Gotta add that. Enable. Oh, Excel Draw is cool. I'm not very good at Excel Draw. I always think of the Theo videos. Theo loves some Excel Draw. And then you got Obsidian Git. Integrate. Enable. So then that's good to go. Could not find a valid. Create one via the given command or clone an existing repo. All right, what's that look like? So then we got git. Should be good. TL draw as well. Ah, okay. I've never used TL draw. I'll have to check that out, Phoenix. Go options. What do we got? All right, let's set up the repo for this. So I'm all about that. So if we come over into here, we get it installed, blah, 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 Linux installation. They want to actually do Flatpak for the install on Linux. Okay. Getting started. Call the initialization new repo command. Okay. So what does that look like? We don't have a starting one. We're gonna start with a new one. Except use that. So where do we type these commands in is the next thing. Initialize new repo. So let's come back. And we're going to go here. Commit sync is usually what most people do. So where would that be? All right, 1 second, guys. I gotta take a break. 1 second. I'm gonna check out TL Draw when I come back too. 1 second. BRB. I will be right back. Do I still have a timer? Ah, I do. Cool. 10. All right, be right back. 1 second, guys. And gal.
All right.
I have returned before the timer. That never happens, huh? All right, what do we miss? What do I miss? Quit that. Ghosty's so cool. I love Ghosty. Let's see. Can I use X2Go versus Rustdesk versus Tiger VNC? I have never used X2Go. I've used Rustdesk, decent. Tiger VNC is kind of like my go-to. I've always liked Tiger. So, but I mean, VNC is like super old at this point. So maybe that's just the old man in me like, well, just forward port 5900 and call it a day. Not the most secure thing, probably. But it does work. It's always like my fallback. I never like poke firewall holes in for a Tiger, but I'll definitely use it as like a fallback for like if I'm remote gaming and I have like a different system set up somewhere I'm streaming from, I'll use that. But it's a good question. Why do you dislike Apple's user interfaces so much? It feels like a Fisher-Price toy to me, I guess, is the best way to put it. I know some people like the aesthetic. It's just not my jam. I think that's probably what I don't like about the interfaces. Also, like when you go into the settings, I know you don't use Mac very much, Peter, so I'll just explain this real fast. And also, this is a good recap for anybody else. But like if you need to change anything, you install a program, and let's say that program needs access for something on the system, you almost always have to come into like privacy and security. So like you'll be in here, and the other thing is whoever designs their menu systems is a complete crackhead. Like they always change crap. So privacy and security. And then if it needs to access files and folders, calendar, whatever, there's all these different separated out portions of the system. Local network, for instance, that you'll get prompted about this a whole bunch, because like if Chrome needs to access, let's say you want to look up something on your local network, whether that's a gateway, whatever, well, then Chrome's going to ask for permissions. Then it'll pull up the privacy and security screen. Then you're going to go into here, and then you're going to go, hey, Chrome, yep, you can access the stuff on the local network. And again, this is just like something Mac users, they're like, well, that's how it's always done, right? And it's just like they get used to it. And like it needs to access microphone, it needs to access remote desktop, if it needs to access screen recording and audio recording. These are all different toggles to do those things. And you physically have to do them because you're thinking already, like a Linux user, I'm sure, and thinking, well, you just do it in a CLI and you can just bypass all this. Used to be that way, but in the last several iterations, they pretty much force the user to come in here, select what needs to have the permissions, and manually do it with their mouse, like a caveman. And one could argue, to be devil's advocate here for the Mac people that like it, I will say it is more secure. Annoying as hell, but there is a level of security there, I suppose. I personally absolutely despise and hate it with every fiber of my being, but to each his own. To each his own. You know, and it's fine. Like, you get used to it. As with anything, it just goes with the territory. Nothing is perfect. Everything can be improved. And that's just one of them Appleisms. Yeah, it's as secure as having your PC off or having it disconnected from the internet. You know, it's just, you know, and I think, yeah, at least Apple makes it more private for normie users. And I think that's the argument. I think really that is, but it does break the CLI. And the reason why they do that is for security, because an advanced user like me could just write a utility and then just say, hey, let's just make this like normal systems, like normal operating systems. Nobody likes this crap. Let's just turn it all off. It prevents that. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Because from Apple, they're doing it specifically so normie users have to be involved in the privacy and security realm. I disagree with it, but it's not wrong per se. I can't sit here and tell you I'm 100% right here. This is just a normal usage. I get why they do it. I don't agree with it, but I get why they do it. Finder's is horrible. I agree. Finder's just crap. Do you know how to install the latest Sequoia in VB as a VM? I don't use VirtualBox Nightfall. I hate VirtualBox. VirtualBox can go die in a fire somewhere, along with Oracle. That's being nice. I really, really do not like VirtualBox. Not perform it. Sucks. It's fine for someone like just getting the virtualization, I guess. But there's just so many better options. I hate VirtualBox. Although I should soften my stance on this a little bit, because I used to love VMware Workstation until Broadcom bought out VMware, and then they basically gave away Workstation. But by doing so, they essentially just was like, well, we're just not going to develop that anymore. So it kind of like, I would almost rather it be the old VMware Workstation where you paid the $300 and it works so good. I was my favorite client side ease of use workstation for virtual machines. But last time I tried to use VMware Workstation, it really has gone downhill. And I was just like, man, well, that's a damn shame. Yeah, VMware Workstation was the best, and I loved it. But yeah, Broadcom, I feel like Broadcom's ruining it, or has ruined it. I haven't used it enough lately to tell you, but the last time I used it, it was not good. What is going on out here? Oh, damn. I think my neighbor's car's getting repoed. Nah, I bet he called like a... Sorry, something was happening outside the house there. That was wild. Well, nobody's running out there with a shotgun, so I think it's fine. That is definitely getting just full on towed. Damn. All right, sorry. Nosy neighboring over here. All right. When are we doing DWM-Titus? Yes, we should probably do that. Oh, let me finish Obsidian. Let me finish this thought. We still got to set up the Git repository. Where do we do that? Where do we initialize the Git repository is what I want to know. So that has to be here somewhere. So where is the Git initialize? So we need to initialize this directory, and then I kind of wanted to pull it into Git, the Linux. Let's see. I could just do a script, yeah, and manually git commit. It's just doing that for you. True. But I do like having the little interface with the buttons right here. That would be kind of cool. So, there's gotta be a way to initialize that. Let's look at the file itself. Maybe we do a git initialize. Did I have that somewhere? Oh, here it is. Okay. Follow installation. Done. Call the initialize a new repo command. How do you call a command in Obsidian? So in Obsidian, we need to call the git initialize, which it's been a while since I've done Obsidian, so I'm going to be like a little toddler, hunting around, pecking around for this command. Control P. Let's try. Oh no, that was actually a screenshot. That was not what I needed. Command P? No. Nope, that was another screenshot. All right. Well, command palette. Where's that at? Control P. Everyone's saying Control P. And yet... it is not working for me. So that means I think I have a conflicting hotkey. That's the default shortcut. Yeah. Alrighty. I'm pretty sure I overrode it with something in... oh, I probably overrode it with something in Raycast. So let's go hotkeys. Let's go command. Command palette. Ah. All right, let's just go new. Control P. That was bound to like hotkey. So now, initialize a new repo. Yes. Initialized a new repo. Perfect. So we can go welcome, delete, don't ask again, delete from Mac OS, the new note. All right, and then we just push that out. Select or create a new remote by typing a name. Obsidian. I feel like this should have auto-filled. Yeah, that's not a proper get. So when we initialize this new repo, what was it? I don't feel like we did it correctly.
Look, I want to say, I know you know a lot of super people, so thanks for thanking of me.
Packy, thanks for joining the YouTube members. So if we didn't do it correctly, let's pull up our GitHub. Let's look at my activity. Maybe I got something new. Let's go to old repos. Surely it added it. All right. So I don't see anything here. Let's go sort by last updated. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yeah, that was 2 hours ago, that. So it didn't create the repo. Maybe it doesn't have authentication for the repo. I don't think it does. Let's go into Obsidian settings. Let's go down to Git. We're going to merge on the merge strategy. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull on startup too. It's always a good thing. But you would think they would have like an authentication or something. Let's just do like contact@christitus.com. Commit author. Pull on startup. That's good. That's good. Preview message. Commit message. Auto pull. Auto commit and sync after the latest commit. Nah, I kind of want to do it myself. Yeah, there is no authentication there. All right, let's try that command palette again. Let's try to initialize a new repo. initialized a new repo. So then we should be able to commit these changes. And then we should be able to push. And then it's like, okay, let's go Obsidian. Does not. Oh, okay. So we have to. I think we have to manually create the repo first. So let's try that. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, you know, all syncs in Obsidian typically are a little strange to set up, but I could see if we could get this set up perfectly, then you would never have to pay the monthly fee. You know, I'm kind of cheap. I like not paying a monthly fee. No, I'm terrible. I am terrible. So let's just go Z GitHub. GH repo create Obsidian. Let's go public. Yeah, you guys can see my notes. I don't really care. All right. GH repo clone Obsidian. All right. Just GH repo create. Don't clone it. Okay. Fine. I won't clone it. Okay. Select existing. Okay. Got it. So from here, now we're going to go command palette. We're going to say initialize new repo. Nope, that didn't work. Git. What are our options? Yeah, we gotta do git initialize, right? Yeah, now it's not allowing me to go back. Curious to hear if you still considered Fedora in the devil tier. I just watched your video 2 years ago where you liked 40 distro. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, it's still based on Red Hat, and that's still a problem. So Red Hat hasn't done anything bad yet this year, but it's more of a yet and when than an if. So yeah, it's still probably devil tier. And Red Hat's had a huge push towards Wayland. Same with Canonical. And I'm not a big fan. Just not a fan. Yeah, they're local ones. Let's just delete this. Let's start over again. Let's just quit. And what we're gonna do, let's open up Finder. I'm gonna go into Docs. Is there anything bad in here? Don't see anything. Oh. Okay. Sorry, just looking over here. All right, now let's open it up again. Okay. We're gonna create a new one. Here we go, CTT. For the vault name. We'll just toss it in docs because who cares? We're gonna be syncing it anyway, so you could toss this anywhere. Grab that. All right. So then we got our fresh, brand new repo, right? Now we're gonna go into settings. Let's enable that community plugin. Browse plugins. I'm gonna just grab Excel Draw because I know I'll use that. And then let's also grab Git. Install that. Enable. Perfect. Nothing in the options key here, so that should be fine. Did this overwrite my command palette hotkey as well? Let's check. Command palette. Yes, it did. Let's redo that hotkey since I overwrote the default hotkey there. Then we're just gonna go Control P, Git, and initialize a new repo. What about repo? Let's clone an existing remote repo. And I kind of want to see if we can just clone this one then. I think that's the ticket. So if we come into here, Obsidian. Let's just grab this whole remote repo, right? Copy it. Okay, should we use SSH? Let's try SSH first. I don't think that'll work, but I kind of want to try. So let's first just try SSH. Enter a directory for clone. It needs to be empty and non-existent. CTT. Enter depth of clone. Yeah, we're going to do a full clone. God, this is such a skill issue. Set a host key verification problem. Get, what about key auth? Yeah, I guess we just try HTML. All right, let's try that. Clone existing repo. And this time we're going to try not using the SSH. So we'll go HTTP on this one. Paste. Did that work? Okay. Okay. Not a Git repository or any parent directories. Okay. So we haven't done that yet, huh? So can we... You think it opened a new... I don't think it cloned it. Can we open a vault? Open. CTT. Yeah, that's the same one. Gosh. I kind of want to just do this manually at this point. I think I get what the plugin's trying to do. Not the most intuitive thing in the world, but that's okay. And I kind of figure it'll probably be pushing just like git commands directly at this. So what I'm going to do instead... let's just quit out of Obsidian, and this time I'm gonna just set it up manual because I kind of want to set it up this way anyways. So we're gonna take this existing crap that it created. I hate that there's no copy or cut command here, but whatever. We're gonna paste it. We'll paste it inside of here, but first we're gonna go. Where's that at? All right, here it is. Let's go gh repo clone Obsidian. All right, then we've cloned an active directory of that. All right, cool. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to paste this folder. And instead, actually, I think we're going to just take, I think I can just get this welcome markdown. Let's copy it. And we're going to put it in Obsidian. Paste item. Then let's delete the CTT. Then I think we already have this initialized just with like a welcome markdown. Then I'm going to come back into Obsidian. Let's go File. And then we're going to try and open this vault. And what I'm going to do on the open here, I'm just going to delete this one. Just remove from list. Then I'm going to open GitHub, Obsidian, open. And this should be the vault here. So let's, I don't know why it opened a new window, but this should be our Git already initialized, already ready to go. Reason why I did it this way too is because GH does a better job with especially the authentication. I didn't see any like auth to Git, and that's why I'm kind of like, I'm already auth with GH. If it's already set up, cloned and everything there, and you spit Git commands in that folder, it should work. So now I think I can come into here with this vault, go into our community plugins one last time, and then it should work just fine. Let's install and enable that. Yep, great. Let's go Git, install and enable. Great. So then if we look at Git here, we have that. We have our welcome, macOS edit. Now in the Obsidian Git folder, we'll just do a test commit. So now we've changed it. We have all these staged changes. We'll commit. So those are committed, ready to go. And then we should be able to push. Bad revision origin main. Ambiguous argument origin main, unknown revision or path not in working tree. Chris, how many years have you been working in this industry? I think professionally, first time, probably around 2001. So about 24 years. But as far as like software development, that type of stuff, man, just a couple years really. Yeah, this all should be set up. If we look over here, let's just go into Obsidian directory. And you can see the Git's already there, and .obsidian's there, where it has all the Obsidian stuff and settings. So I feel like the branch is not set up properly in the plugin itself. So let's get that. 1 second. Branch. So I think if we set remote branch here, that should be fine. Let's get command palette set up first though. It's still the old one. Anytime I do a new repo, that's what happens. So we'll do Control P. So then we can go here. Let's go branch. I think it's git switch remote branch origin. Select, create a new branch by typing its name. Wouldn't it just be main at this point? Origin main did not match any files known to Git. Well, there went that idea of setting it up that way. Damn, I almost kind of want to. I just would like it in Obsidian instead of managing it all through terminal. Yeah, we can look at Git status. And we can just do like git add dot git com just gcom actually I think would work just fine. Hotkeys, and then you can do like a git push, and then that would update the directory and everything. The problem I'm having here is it just is not seeing like it should use origin main. So maybe it wants to create new branches or something of that regard. I'm not sure exactly what it's wanting for this plugin. Like you should be able to create something like here if you go new, and then you're like, okay, cool, let's just commit and sync that. Okay, it worked. Huh. But I didn't do anything different. Maybe just get it all set up in terminal. And maybe there was like a existing commit just kind of hanging out before all this. So get it all synced with GH, get it all going, then add it, then maybe switch branch and put origin main and make sure it's all good to go. Like on the first initial clone and add, make sure it's all clean, no commits needed to be done, and then make sure change remote branch, do origin main. And then once it's all synced, we should now be able to just go. So like if I edit more, MacOS test 2, and then I just go, okay, let's commit that. Then you can see it does actually remove it from the stage changes, which is fine. You can actually stage it right here, and then you can see the push is up. So then you just push it. I like that. So then you can stage it first, then commit it, then push. Or if you just want them one butt clicking, just commit and sync everything, you can just commit and sync. It would do it all. Okay, cool. I think we got it set up now. And now we can go over to Linux and test it out. So no access tokens, no auth built into this thing. So I don't know how you would set it up from scratch within Obsidian. I think you have to set up the Git repo outside of it in the terminal using GH. And then once everything's set up and authenticated, I would get into Obsidian and then do Git. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if that's how they intended it to be, because they do have an initialize new repo option. Maybe that's for like a local repo using Git. But obviously I'm gonna want to use GitHub for this. Yeah. Let's see. Ken said he linked a video here. Oh, big fan of your Windows tool. Thanks, Packy. I just saw that. Check the video, Ken says. Oh, let's see. So how's he doing?
Tom. I wanted to make a quick video, just an informative guide on how to get Obsidian Git working with GitHub, with your repo. This is assuming, we're going off of brand new stuff here, like, new repo and everything.
Cool.
First things first, you're going to want to go to github.com/new to make a new repository. I'm going to make a tutorial repo, and then you will want to make it public or private. But the main thing, you want to make sure it's you have a add a README file, because then you don't have to run through the steps of committing anything to the repository. It just, you know, it does all the extra work that you need to do right off the bat. So then we have this tutorial repo. So now what we're gonna do is,
I mean, honestly, at this point, I'd still stay on the CLI for all of this. I wouldn't go through the website.
we're going to clone it into here. But first, before we clone it, we need a key to log in. So we're gonna go to our settings here, and then we're gonna go down to developer settings, personal access tokens, tokens classic, generate new tokens, and classic. And then I'm going to log in here using Proton. And then here, expiration, you can set it to no expiration. You know, I know this could be a security risk for some people, but
no,
I'm just going to do Obsidian tutorial here.
I don't like this way.
And then for scope, you just want to make a repo.
But let's keep watching.
Scroll down, generate token, copy the token that you just got, and then you're going to want to press Control key. And then you're gonna want to clone. Well, first you need to get the plugin. Jeez. Yeah, get the Git plugin. It's called Git here. Install. It's by Vincent. Enable. Boom. Go into your clone, and then remote URL. You're gonna do https:// and then you're gonna put your GHP token here, and then at github.com, and then
no
your username / your repo name. So tutorial.git. .git is very important. And then you press enter. Enter directory for clone needs to be empty or non-existent. I'm gonna do tutorial. So basically all of this folder will be synced to GitHub. So I'll do tutorial.
The problem with this was that personal access token is going to be put as a setting in the .obsidian folder, and that .obsidian folder is going to be synced to GitHub, and you might expose your entire API key. So be careful if you follow this way. I don't like it. I would prefer to use just GH for my authentication, and then Obsidian looks like it still just issues standard git commit and git add and git push, and those would all work if you set these up properly. So we're gonna switch over to Linux and do this and just make sure.
Go back into Obsidian here, and here we are.
But yeah, that's jank.
Close everything here. I'm gonna drag welcome in here, but you can see I'll go in here and I see readme tutorial. So we're also gonna do this is a test for the Obsidian tutorial. Now, there are two things. If you're syncing this with devices, you need to pull every time after you make changes on another device. So you just do pull, or you can automate this, and I'll show you that in a second. If you're sending stuff out, you'll want to do commit and sync.
I did see you could do a git pull when you first open up your Obsidian. So if you have multiple devices like me, I would probably just enable that feature.
Git commit.
So you don't have to worry about pulling every time.
Right? So now, if I go back to our main repo here.
Go to the new Obsidian.
Look at that. The readme's been changed, and welcome.md is in there. Now, if you want to automate this process, press Control, comma, and then you're going to want to go to Git. Auto commit sync and interval, you're gonna want to set this to however many minutes interval you want to synchronize Obsidian. So I'm gonna do 1. So every minute it commits and syncs.
That's very fast.
And then every time I start up the computer or start the application, I want to pull. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna scroll down here to pull on startup, turn that on. And then you'll see if I restart Obsidian here, if I restart Obsidian here, you can see pull, everything's up to date, no changes to commit, no commits to push. Cool. And that's it. Now you can start writing notes, and yeah.
I get it.
Good.
I won't do that method, because personal access tokens, especially in this regard, would highly not recommend it. If you're going to do a personal access token for your Obsidian, make sure you add in the scope of the token when you issue it on GitHub that it only is for that repo. So someone doesn't grab your personal access token and then has free range of all your repositories. So it's interesting. So let's try and set it up this other way. I do appreciate the video there, Ken, though. That's good. Check Discord. Let's see what you got. Where is it? Where is my Discord? Do I have Discord somewhere? Oh, I don't think I have it open over here. Well, let's pull up old Discord. What do we got? Okay, so Phoenix says first initialize through C, the command palette, then run gh repo create and select the current local thing. So you're doing cdn repo create. Yep. What would you like to do? You did private, add remote, yes. What should we call the remote? Origin. So you got origin master set up. Okay. Why not just do like a repo create, the name, and then dash dash private or public? So you don't have to do all of this questions. And then go here, initialize a new repo. I don't think that's right though. Once it's initialized, like we already initialized this repo, so we need to clone this repo, I believe. Yeah. So let's try it out. Unless I'm missing something. Yeah. All right, let's try it. Second, I'm just gonna set up chat so I can pull you guys up when I need you, so I don't totally forget about you. Which, man, that happens. All right, and then let's just go here. We're gonna pull you to 5. Boom. I'll push that right like that, and blow that up a little bit. Is that the same? Let's go down 1. All right, cool. 1, 2, 5. We got all that. Perfect. So then we should be able to come back to here. And now, let's see. We got YouTube, Twitch, everything's a go. We're on our Linux box now. We're gonna yay as Obsidian. We'll just grab Obsidian. It's in just a standard repo. I didn't know Obsidian was an Electron app. It's kind of gross, but you know, it's okay. Yeah, I did try Helix out, Peter. Helix is really interesting. If I hadn't already learned Vim, I would be more open to learning Helix, because Helix seemed a little bit more sensical in how it did things. Like you would select everything and then hit the delete command instead of preempting that command with a delete. So Helix was neat, but I already learned Vim, so it's kind of like, meh, I don't really want to learn something else. And I already dedicated so much time to Vim and a lot of the ecosystem that Helix is just not as mature from plugins packages standpoint. So I was like, oh my god, I gotta update my repos. I am downloading like a 56K modem right here. Yeah, it's more like DSL, but not 56K. That's a little dramatic. Yeah, I tried ST Terminal a little bit, but I've actually moved even past Alacrity and Kitty. So Peter's probably shaking his head. I really like seeing images and videos within the terminal and having a lot of graphical optimizations in the terminal itself. So I've actually completely converted over to Kitty. Kitty's been fantastic. Remind me to update my stupid my servers here. I cleared out my package, but anyways, that's fine. Let's do GitHub, gh repo clone Obsidian. So we're gonna clone Obsidian, and then we're gonna just open that vault. So we've just cloned it. So now Obsidian, and now we're just gonna open that vault that we already created. So we're gonna go into GitHub, Obsidian, select, trust and enable add-ons. Perfect. Now this should pull in all of my edits. So you can see we have it already. And I think honestly, this should be fine. So let's go Linux, edit. We're gonna go commit and sync and push. Pushed. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So this works great. No need to do any of that stupid like initialize with the command palette and all that business. Just do it all in the CLI. No reason to do a pat token. No reason to do the website. Just gh repo create Obsidian or the name of your repo, public or private, and if it's public, obviously the world will see it. So, you know, don't put anything like important in here that you don't want anybody to see. And then once the repo is created, then go ahead, you can copy a blank vault in there, initialize a new vault in it, whatever it is, but open it under that directory. And then go ahead, go back to the CLI, do an add, a commit, and a push. Once that's done, your Obsidian's set up within there, set your settings, finally finish it out with like a git commit, and you're good to go. So yeah, this is so much better. So I don't have to worry about anything. I have all my little git right here. If I wanted to, I could manage it outside of Obsidian, but obviously I'd like having the little icons. So then if we go back to Mac to see how this works, let's come back to Mac. And then, well, where's my mouse? Oh, there it is. Okay, good. It's like, where are you at? Where are you at? And did I have Obsidian open already? I guess not. Let's just quit that. Let's launch Obsidian. Must have already been open on another workspace. Oh, there it is. Gosh darn it. I hate it. There we go. All right. So then we have that. Now it's not showing our changes here. So we're going to have to pull the changes. Did I not set that setting up? Let's make sure. Should auto pull. You know, I'm going to set this to 5. And then when I open it, pull on startup. Okay, let's try that again. So let's quit. Launch it again. All right, there it is. All right, there's the Linux edit. Everything's right with the world. Now we did make a change to our settings specifically. So you can see it's wanting to change the data.json file here with some of those settings. And the welcome one is right here. That's just the recently pulled files. So now we can just sync this again. Perfect. And it's pushed. And now we can go back to Linux. And this one, once we pull the changes, everything is up to date. just pulled 2 new files. You got those new data files. So then every time it gets opened, you'll now see it's reflected in the Obsidian settings here, which should be under right here. And you can see pull on startup is now enabled over here. So it's syncing settings, it's syncing our notes, it's syncing everything all through Git automatically. And I would prefer this method. I think using a pat token is just terrible. Just bad security design, bad setup, just not great. I wouldn't bother initializing or doing any of that in here using their commands. I would just do it all with GH on the command line. And then GH will set up Git, authenticate everything for you, and then open up the vault in Obsidian using the Git plugin. That's my recommendation. Super simple. Now that I understand how it works, all this is doing right here, this is just doing a git, add, commit, and push all at once. You have just a standard stage, then you have a standard commit. This is a git push, this is a git pull, and then what's the change layout? Oh, okay. I probably would go with the list layout. And this refresh would probably, I don't know what that is. Everything's up to date there. Oh, I guess I must have changed something there. Oh, yeah. So what I changed here was just going from the layout. So when this setting changed and I switched it to like a folder view, watch this. All of a sudden, I bet you, let's refresh it. Now you can see the tree structure. It's now switching to folder view. We go back to a list view, refresh again, and then it switches back to list view. Very cool. Ah, I like it. That's clean. That's very, very clean. I like that a lot. I'm trying to think of how intuitive. I think that's the best intuitive way. I think we'll do a little write-up on this. Because everything I'm seeing, like the 4-minute GitHub video, I just wouldn't. One, it can be done a lot faster, a lot more efficient, and a lot better, just more secure. Thinking if we want to just do, I could just do a script in the linutil and set it up that way. But anywho, that's very neat. What do we all think about that? All right, important business, DWM-Titus. Yeah, so DWM-Titus has been going. Caleb wants you to check the PR for D. Oh, yeah, let's review it. All right, let's go there. I'll check that, Zero. I was going to check to see what we got going on tomorrow. If not, we'll do the 10th. I'll get with you before the end of the day. So... yeah, all you really need is GH repo create, and then essentially opening the vault within that repo that you've cloned. You still got to clone it. So you got to do a create. You got to do a GH repo create. Then you need to clone that newly created repo that you did on GitHub. And then you open up your Obsidian vault within the cloned directory. And then that's it. Everything should be all set up. When you open up that initial vault, you might need to go back to the command line and do one final git commit and push to make sure everything's synced up. But even then, I don't think you do. I think we could do it without. You need your laptop for my PR. Oh. I haven't opened up my Linux laptop in a bit. It has been a minute. I don't think I have that all set up, man. We're going to have to wait till Monday. Monday on the PR then. You don't need to clone it. You just open the vault through the CLI and then run gh repo create. You kind of, I know that's not going to work, Phoenix, because you have to have an empty directory to create and clone. You can't clone into an existing directory. If there's existing loose files in a directory, you can't clone into that. At least how I'm thinking. I'll work out the exact thing so it makes it easier for folks. Yeah, I bet it will. Let's see. Let's go DWM-Titus. Dude, I think I already merged it, bro. Did I merge it already? I think I did. Oh, maybe I didn't. Did you put it on Linutil or something? I don't see any pull requests here on DWM-Titus. Oh, you put it on Linutil. Okay. Let's see. What are you doing here? I see how you are doing it. Yeah, nah, I probably would just... Yeah, so you're editing the config file externally from a clone. This actually should go in the DWM project. But your head's in the right spot, though, for this. Because this would be like, hey, if battery exists, then go ahead and create this in the config.ini. And maybe we create like a setup script that detects what the system's running. Is there a battery? Is there a backlight? Because that's another thing that's missing out of the laptop conditions for DWM-Titus. And like, you see how we do our volume up here at the top with just a scroll wheel? I would do the same thing with backlight. So backlight would also need to be in here. So I'd add that. And so backlight it. And then also battery power. Yeah. So the backlight and battery, I'm trying to think if we do a detection on setup and add it like this. I almost feel like we should have some kind of built-in detection to where you could always just clone DWM-Titus and then it would just detect it automatically and then, oh, you have a battery. Here's what's your battery's at kind of situation. Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting. Battery exists for all PCs? I don't think so. Let's see what kind of classes we have. So if we go into our sys class and what, power supply? Yeah, so we don't have any battery here. So you just look for, does bat exist? Much like how Caleb put this together. That looks legit to me. It looks good. And then he's just adding the battery module to the config.ini in Polybar, which would be correct. Oh, yeah, yeah. Let me update the stream title. Speaking of which, 1 second. All right. Let's say. No. That's too antagonizing. I'm just gonna put DWM-Titus. Let's just update the title. There we go. Yeah, initially I said Caleb's wrong by doing it in setup, but now I'm like, maybe that is a good spot for it. But we could also do it in the like if we look at, let's go DWM-Titus, right? But if we actually look at our script in Polybar, right now, I already have some built-in logic for multi-monitor setups, because that was one thing that like DWM's kind of known to kind of suck on. I already fixed this because I have multi-monitor inside and I use DWM in there. And I wanted to detect, but I also didn't want to run multiple different configurations for different systems. So the same configuration here exists inside, but inside the configuration is completely different with multi-monitor. So this one detects multi-monitor and then spits out the correct one. So what we could do here, because we're setting primary, we do this and then we launch the Polybar right here on monitors main and config if multi-monitor setup is set. Now if it's not, single monitor is set and then this happens. But what if the config file we have, oh yeah, this would be clean. This would be clean. You'll like this. Let's do laptop config file equals, and what we'll do is come on over here, V to the end. Let's yank this. Let's come on into the end, paste it. And let's go lap config, laptop config. Okay. So then the config file, we're going to check for battery and brightness, backlight. Although this is going to change. So we're going to have to do some kind of logic for, because some people, and someone in chat already mentioned it, battery 1 and battery 0, depending on laptops and other things, sometimes they change. Sometimes it's Intel backlight, sometimes it's like a different setting for the backlight. Ooh. Did you ever figure out your clock troubles in Windows? Yeah, no, Rux. I think I'm just going to install Windhawk and then do that as well. We could do a fancy regex for that. The beauty of hard coding here would be, what I don't want is it to be iterating and finding it out each run. Or maybe I do want that, but only on run. I don't want it to continually check. And then, so on launch, we need to specify battery and all of that. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, it's quick enough. We could do it every run. So yeah, I think I would just say lap config, and then if we come over here, and which directory are we in right now? Yeah, I think we're here. Let's come into our polybar, which we're at right now. You can see we have launch modules. I think it was under themes minimal. We have our config here. So if we yank that, paste it, and go laptop config, bam, we'll create that file, open it, and then under laptop config, we want to make sure we'd have pulse audio date and tray. Probably do backlight here and battery. And do we have that though? What's our modules look like? Yeah, we have battery, X backlight. So if we go down to battery looks like this. Battery equals bat1. Adapter ACAD full at 98. I don't think that's right. Most people will be bat0. And then for X backlight, I think that'll be okay actually. But again, we'll have to pull out the laptop to test all this. In theory, this should work just fine. If we look at this, this shouldn't be bat1. Like, that should be like bat0. That would be better. So then we have laptop config set with that config file. And what we could do here is specify different battery modules instead of like doing a sed replace, having multiple. So then we have bat0, bat1, which should cover almost everybody's laptops. And then it would just say, hey, if bat1 exists, then use this config. If it's bat0, use this config. So I think that should be fine. So then if, and heck, I think why reinvent the wheel here? We'll just take yours, bam. What's your sed here? We're doing 35S, replacing, what are we doing on that side of things? Yeah, so I absolutely, every single thing I take, I make sure it doesn't run any kind of script in perpetuity. That's the thing that most people screw up, is they'll have like some status bar that's running like every second. And then it's sitting there just churning because it's always querying, hey, what's this? What's that? And that's not how it's done. It should just display it by what's readily available in the system. So like my workspaces and how I manage workspaces, all that's done by just reading the values of each window, and the window values get specified through DWM directly. So there's no query, there's no trigger, nothing. It just says, hey, what workspace we on? The window says, well, you're on workspace 3. And that's it. There's no polling anything. So it's much faster, so clean in that regard. Where most setups I've seen with DWM and frankly, most window managers, they overcomplicate it. Where this just uses EWMH and the atoms in DWM. Anyways, let's just do this. Let's copy it. I think I can just do laptop config file. Something like that, I would imagine would be fine. Having a first run flag that changes or checks for certain things like the battery. That's true. We could set that up as well. We could also hard code it into DWM2 to find these values and display them. I'm really kind of for that. Like instead of having like overly complicated bash scripts, as I'm in an overly complicated bash script, having DWM spit out and then specify, hey, this is what's happening with the system. And then those values are just always available to Polybar or whoever, whatever program running that needs it. I feel like that's the way to go. Have you already abandoned MacUtil for the day? Yes. Yes, I have. But I haven't abandoned it completely. I just got to take a step back and go, what is it that will work well for Mac users? How do I approach this in 2025 when we can't properly set default values through the CLI? It's a bit aggravating is all. I needed a little bit of a palate cleanser too, where Linux just allows you to do whatever the hell you want, and I really like that. Even if it's something that's not good, it allows me to do it, and I appreciate that freedom. Can set up flags for the part of the launch script. Oh, yeah, that would be good, because the launch script is getting pushed out through if we go back, that should be config.h, and yeah, so alt bar command, you can see we're doing launch right through here. Now, I do have some extra code here I probably should get rid of. The sys tray, show sys tray, I could get rid of. That would clean up some of DWM as well. And where is the alt bar getting declared? Alt bar CMG. Alt bar CMD. So, oh. Yeah, okay, so that's getting, I baked this directly in. So directly into this, if alt bar CMD is declared, it does system and launches it in C directly in my DWM. And that is happening. There's only a couple matches here. So spawn bar happens during the setup phase of DWM. And that's it. And that's it. I like it. That is pretty darn clean. Now what about sys_tray? Sys_tray. Now we got a lot of sys_tray here. I feel like we need to get rid of all sys_tray stuff. This could clean up a lot of code. If we look here, you have sys_tray pinning, sys_tray on left, spacing, all these values in our conf. That is just kind of gunking things up. So we can get rid of it. So we'd get rid of these 5 values that are declared in the header file for config. And then if we look here, you have sys_tray. And oh yeah, look at this. Like if you go to the, this is just the struct. If you actually go to sys_tray function, get sys_tray width. Yeah, if show sys_tray and this. So all of this would be like 8 lines right here we get rid of. And then if show sys_tray right here, during the client message, you could see this entire if statement would go in the trash. So going through here, during the draw bar, clean up some of them there, update sys_tray. See, I don't think we would need get rid of tuple. I'm trying to think if we need the width of the sys_tray. If we're launching polybar, I don't think we need a lot of these functions. You know what I'm saying? Because this is quite a lot. I really think pushing sys_tray out and having polybar take it is a great idea. And then just giving polybar the tools to succeed from DWM is just where the magic happens. Because if you look at sys_tray, show sys_tray is off. And I really don't see anything else here. Yeah. Get the sys_tray diff and you can undo the patch. Well, the problem, Peter, is I've added so much to my DWM. It's there's no patching being done here anymore. There is no patch I can do. I can look at the line differences, like whenever the suckless team updates DWM. Typically, I just look at what they've done and I just grab those commits directly at the time. But trying to do like a consolidated patch with like more than probably 10 or 20 line changes, it's always a disaster. But I actually did a write-up on the website specifically if you do want to pull in other people's, like, let's say you fork something and then like they updated it 2 years after you added a whole bunch of crap. I did an article specifically about that, which, let's see, what was that? Let me pull it up. Wasn't too long ago. Yeah, using git apply. So whenever you do patches from like large forks, like mine has turned into a very large fork, and it really has diverged a lot from the original suckless design. Kind of just using git apply has been so much great. So I used to use the patch command a whole bunch, and I was like, but then when I learned git apply, and then if it was a clean patch, which probably rarely happens, but let's say it is, you can grab the commit directly from the official like suckless, I think is git.suckless.org. And then once you do that, I format the patch using that SHA. And then I do a git apply statistics, which is essentially like a dry run, and it checks it. This will check it for rejects. And then if you don't have any rejects, you could actually just apply the clean patch, and it actually puts that person's author into your script, so you know that wasn't you that wrote that patch, and that commit gets applied directly to your project, which is great. More often than not, you can't do that. And then you do like a git am reject, and then you have to kind of sit there and massage it a little bit based on what lines it gets rejected. And that's kind of how I started doing a lot of my patching, because of how much it's diverged from the original DWM. But it's going really well in that regard. I mean, I'm super pumped. I'm just having a great time with it. Oh, and also I added the help guide. I kind of stole that idea from Omarchi, and then I'm started working on, or I'm going to start working on the I think it's DWM.ChrisTitus.com. So then I was going to install an entire manual, and this manual is going to be formatted a lot better than Omarchi's manual. And then I was going to put it all right here. Just a ton to do. I don't know if I'll ever finish, but I'm having a good time. But I really do like it though. Like explaining like the configuration and adding it. And the cool thing, like most people don't get, like with Omarchi, it's meant for a clean system install. And with DWM-Titus, you can just install it on any Linux box, and it's like nothing. Like you look at what this is, all these files that I'm showing, it all gets consolidated down into just this one file, and it's only 100 kilobytes. It's not even a meg, not even 1 megabyte in 2025. And that's running all of my window management. Oh, it's just awesome. Just sitting here. We're just sipping power, just a little bit, just not even using anything. God, it feels so good. Oh, I love it. I just need to make it more accessible. And that's the cool thing that Omarchi taught me. It was like, hey, you can have a complex setup, and you can modify things and change exactly for everybody. And even though window managers are inherently complex, you can boil it down pretty simple. And I think we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. It's just so much fun. And no Wayland. I really just do not like Wayland. It's broken by design. It's funny because everyone for years and years has touted Wayland being like so well written, and it's not as bloated as Xorg. But as soon as I start using Wayland, I'm like, I don't see it. If you look at the packages it installs to get it functional, especially with like a Hyperland setup, it installs a lot of shit. Lots and lots of stuff. Where this, by comparison, is night and day. Full stop. So good. It's a great concept though. Like I don't want to tear Omarchi down. I think it really opened my eyes and go, wow, you can do that. That's cool. What CPU? Yeah, I'm using the 212. I'm cheap. A $20 CPU cooler for me. Noctua fans are more expensive than my full CPU cooler. I know. Say, I love that. I'm gonna pin that comment. Where are you at? That is such a Linux thing right there. I love it. Yeah. Oh, you're at 116 kilobytes. I'm at 86 kilobytes. Yours is bloated. I just love it. I love that comment to death. It's so good. It's kind of funny too, because I pulled up an old video of mine, specifically go over Wayland, and that was the big thing. And that's true. Like, there's certain things, like Wayland is more secure by design. X11 will let anything run for the most part. So it does have some more separation between the Windows manager, like screenshot tools and that type of thing. But we're starting to kind of like drift into the Mac world here and taking one out of Apple's playbook by separating some of these things out. And it's causing a lot of issues with specifically the software I have problems with on Wayland is Synergy. And that is because it's more secure. Again, yeah, this is technically true. I just don't agree with it. Yeah, and screen locking, some standby can be a little tricky too, depending on how you set up your system. So, I mean, there's a lot of nuance to Linux systems, and it really depends on your hardware configuration, because we could have the exact same configuration, but you put it on two different pieces of hardware and it'll run drastically different depending on what you got going on. Like, hey, are you using NVIDIA? I'm using AMD. Standby states work a lot different between Intel and AMD CPUs. There's a lot of nuance to a system setup, and it's not as easy as a lot of people make it out to be, and it's not as universal as many people think it is. So there's a lot of differences between the two, but yeah, that's the thing. What about Velux? I don't think I've seen this. What is Velux? Velux window manager. Why haven't I ever heard of this? 500 stars. Michael Forney. Why does that sound familiar? Based on SWC, it is inspired by DWM and XMountNet. Okay. Tag-based window management. They are shown on whichever screen has their tag selected, allowing to easily move windows between screens and by selecting their tag on a different screen. It's kind of nice. DWM's tag system with multi-monitor can be a little tricky. I've patched my DWM a bunch specifically in this regard, so it's a bit more universal. Uses a comp file for edits. The button command. Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. Just C in a make file. Hasn't been updated in 3 years though. That's the thing about DWM. It still sees updates all the time. So if you go sucklist.org, that's why I always have a hard time ever looking at anything but DWM for this, because people just keep at it, man. You know, 6.6 is out. If you go into their source code, you can see the last update was what, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. The last update I did would have been, I believe I started pulling in Hito Osma. Probably said that, probably butchered that. But let's see. I started pulling in his patches, and I think I'm about to 6.6. Let's go DWM-Titus. Double check that. And let's go to my commits. And we should have somewhere in here. I want to say it was within the last. Here we go. Yeah. This is when I was grabbing. Yeah. Because he's one of the devs for DWM, and the last one I grabbed from him was 6.6. So like it says like Raymond Cole and Hito co-authored these. Well, it's not like they reached out to me and we collaborated on this for this, even though they're credited because it is their code. All I ended up doing was getting it on their Git. This is the beauty of Git too, by the way. You can pull all their code. So I would be like, okay, this is a good commit. It shows that everything right here. So you can actually grab this commit, convert it to a patch, grab that as a patch. You'd see it's only adding 2 lines into the DRWC file. And all I do is do that, convert it to a patch, throw it into here, and then they're credited with it. So then when I look back through my commits, I'll be like, what's going on with this? Oh, you know what? That's when I grabbed the official patch from the Suckless devs. So even though my project's kind of diverging a little bit from DWM, it's still able to pull in the improvements that they make over the years. So make refresh rate for mouse resize a configurable option. Oh, yeah. I think actually I've done this already, but we could actually look at it. DWMC around line 1171. Refresh rate. I want to say I've already done this, but heck, let's check. I did not. So let's go 1170. And if we look, what was this would have been in the static constant layout section under case motion notify. Oh, move mouse, actually, sorry. So a little bit further down. And case motion notify, refresh rate. So I've actually already done this kind of patch prior to this. It's not the same as them, but this refresh rate is already tied in. So if we look, there's going to be another refresh rate. So there's this one, and then there's going to be this one, which is the same patch he did. So he added this functionality. And if we look at our config.h, you can see config.h refresh rate is set right here. So we've already done this patch. Just the DWM team's catching up to something we already did. So we could set this to a different refresh rate. It's kind of wild they're doing 120 there for that. And now that I'm looking at this actually should be 120. What is our refresh rate? Yeah, it is set to 120 right here. Oops. My bad. Let's set ours to 120. Let's do sudo make clean install now that I've done that. But we could completely avoid doing this patch because we've already made that functionality. It's fun. Synergy has some Wayland support, not all Wayland support. It works on KDE and GNOME. It doesn't work on Hyperland though, from my knowledge. Last time I tried it on Hyperland, it broke badly. What did you do to make your multi-monitor work nicer? I'm running DWM-DWL on my laptop, and when I connect to a monitor, some of the time, it's a bit clunky. I think the big thing here was I set a specific display script, and I hard coded all my Xorg values. So if I use NVIDIA, like on the inside machine, I'll pull up NVIDIA settings. I usually force full composition pipeline. You know how everyone complains about screen tearing on Xorg? That typically takes care of all screen tearing. And then it also programs in all the multi-monitor support for that system in there. So when whenever I boot up my system, it always knows, hey, this top monitor goes up here, this one goes here, and then the values are all there. I never have to actually run a script or anything. It just knows from a configuration standpoint. I will say, for people that use laptops with massive configuration changes, I still love how Hyperland does it. Like, I know a lot of times I'm crapping on Wayland and by relation some Hyperland, but I actually just a little bit ago did something that was really fun on my Linux laptop. Actually, what I did was, one killer feature I found in Hyperland, here I'll blow it up, is I could set up and go, hey, for my inside PC, I use these specific monitors. Like, there's an Elgato teleprompter there, there's a Samsung monitor up the top, and then I have an HP Omen 27-inch as the main display. I know it's kind of like a cobbled together display, and I know I can use the same config, because then what it'll do is say, hey, for these specific configurations, when it sees a monitor with the serial and description of this, that specific serial numbered monitor, like here on at my work, those were two identical monitors, but the serial number is different, and you could specify that serial number belongs at this value point right here, and then it sets that one over here based on the monitor screen. Man, that's a killer feature of Hyperland, I think, because then you could just have one config, and then that one laptop or change, whenever it sees, hey, these monitors are existing in this new space, that should be all configured this way. And it just kind of always is hard coded that way. As far as DWM goes, man, I don't know if I can do that or not. Or at least I don't know a way of doing it, and not as simple as this, as it's done in Hyperland. Because that's pretty cool, especially for an environment that changes all the time. I've manually done it, but having it automatically detect, hey, this serial number goes here, it's just cool. Something I admire about Hyperland in that regard. Yeah, with DWL, I had a lot of issues specifically with NVIDIA setups. So DWL fell on its face. I don't even think it loaded properly with most of my setups. So I was a little bit of a sad face there. I think I'd give DWL another couple years to cook. I think it'll get there. Chromium's better, yeah, for sure. I just have Chrome set up because that's just what I'm using, and I have an easy sync, and I use a lot of Google crap in my day-to-day, so Google Chrome makes it easier. But no doubt. What do we got with this? Virtual 1 monitor configuration. Oh, yeah. we started setting something up for creation of the Xorg stuff with linutil. I'm glad you reminded me about that. So the Linux toolbox, we're setting up to where instead of hard coding it into like a config file, you would just answer some questions and then it would just set it and forget it kind of thing. The downside to this method would be the versatility and kind of going back and forth between like having a laptop that you'd take to a bunch of different types of configurations with different docks would be where it would kind of fall, because then you'd have to set it up again. Or could do like an arandar script and do it that way, because I've set up, if you're not familiar with arandar scripts, go into like screen layout, cat main. So just a simple xrandar script like this, you could set up main script, and then let's say you're at the office and that's a docking station type scenario, then you could have like a dock script to run. So it would just run an xrandar command, and we could probably set something up to where it detects that and then it would run it, but it still would require the user to create the script using arandar, which is actually not bad. This is auto created script, by the way, and if you're unfamiliar with arandar, it's a pretty legit tool. So you have this and you can set different orientations, resolutions, all that, and then you can just go file, save as, and then test, save, quit arandar, and then you'll see we have test right here, and then it shows, hey, you configured DP-1 to be off all the way. The only output you're using right now is HDMI-2. Speaking of which, shit, this is wrong. Oops. One second. Pay no attention to the man behind the screen here. All right, yeah. So anyways, you have this script that's created with arandar, and it's perfect. I forgot I switched my monitor out here and things changed around, so needed to update this script. I'm glad I showed you all. So yeah. That's very cool though. It breaks and does not do anything when I select one. Okay, Caleb. We'll have to fix that. I want to thank you for getting me encoding. Good to hear, Firewalls. Yeah, I think that's the beauty of programming, man. You gotta, people always think that, hey, you should start with like a coding language or something. For me, I don't even consider myself a coder or a programmer. I think of, hey, I want to solve something, and what's the best solution to solve that in? And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe Rust would be the best for this. I'm not one of those people, but if that is the case, that's what I'll use. And if it's C, then I use C. If it's F sharp, I use F sharp. And, you know, I think that's fun. You know, and then I pick the opposite. That's true. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm just like, what would be the hardest way to do this? That's usually when I pick Rust, actually. There's a lot of times I'm like, you know, it'd be awful to do this in Rust. Let's try it. Yeah. Phoenix knows me so much. Oh man, so much fun. So much fun, man. All right. Let's check. All right. I think this was pretty good.
I think a very productive day. Sorry for my negativity to start the stream out for macOS. I think overall, we're going places. Now, Mac Util, I think I'm gonna figure out a different way of approaching that won't make me insane and make me go on a 15-minute rant to start a stream out. So maybe next Thursday when we look at Mac again, I'll have some different ideas. In the meantime, I think I'm really gonna be pushing DWM-Titus, and there's just so much development that can happen there, and I just enjoy it. So that's why I pick and kind of choose these more obscure DWM type things. I think it's just fun. It's just fun. So I think the next challenge is to go with, maybe the serial number stuff can be done in like 40-line shell script probably. Well, Phoenix, I might add some kind of functionality, because that's one thing I've admired about Hyperland is the ability to specify monitors based on the serial number, based on the monitor description, which we can still pull that in with Xorg. And I don't see a reason why we couldn't just dynamically save and change those things for users and just make it a very user-friendly. That's what I'm trying to do with DWM-Titus, is make it user-friendly. I understand it's not right now, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, first off, start off by not hating it so much. That will leave you open to developing on it. I know. I'm trying, Razzle. I'm trying the best we can, just one day at a time. You know, it's like, I'm gonna keep trying. That's all I can say. We just try. Just wish Apple. I feel like you're goading me here, but I just wish Apple just didn't suck so bad. That's all. You know, I just wish they just, I don't know. And same with Microsoft too. Like, you know, they're trillion-dollar companies, and I just figured things would be better than they are. You think if you had infinite resources and infinite money, it should be pretty much rock solid. But in the end, a lot of times there's just a lot of aggravation that comes with their products, more so than the free hobo guy living down the street that cobbled his stuff up in a cave somewhere. So I don't know. I just expect more from Microsoft and Apple, and all I get is less. And that's fine. I mean, I'm not complaining about that. It's just an observation. But I mean, I'm gonna keep going for it. It should be fun. Should be fun. Just like wait. Yeah, and I get why Apple's such a control freak. Like I said, for a normie user, it does make a lot of sense from a privacy security standpoint. I need to rewire my brain and go, okay, Mac users are not power users typically. So how do I design this in a way that's intuitive for a normal user? How do I design this to help them out? And what would they like to see? And what am I capable of delivering given the restrictions that Apple imposes upon macOS? And it's really answering all those questions in a good way. And just little tiny increments. It's more about just approaching it day by day and just going, okay, what can we do here? And then just slowly pushing forward. Some days you make lots of progress, other days, not so much. Yeah, it's fun. And DWM-Titus is just a fun journey. That's the thing, like, are we gonna finish this? Are we gonna get thousands of users? Oh my God, that would be amazing. I don't know. But even if we don't, it's still really a lot of fun. And that's what I kind of like. So I know a lot of times I'm crapping on Windows or Mac, but it's more of just, I have a lot of fun with the unknowns and being able to kind of like the world's your oyster. If you can think it up, like the fact like Phoenix was like, hey, you can figure out, like, that's like 40 lines to code the serial numbers for the monitors. We could probably figure that out and code that into DWM. I'm like, that's so cool. Like, that's just like so neat. Like, when you're on Windows or Mac, you have to play within these small restrictions. And when you're on Linux, it's like, blah! The whole world you can change. Anything is possible. But also, anything is possible. And that is so overwhelming in a lot of ways. So I get, from a professional standpoint, only being able to change these small amount of variables on both Windows and Mac. And you can kind of finagle stuff in this nice little sandbox that they put you in, but it's not very fun in a lot of times, where it forces you to think a different way or take multiple different kind of avenues to try to approach something that should be just a simple one-liner. And where Linux, it's like, hey, it's a one-liner, but you can just completely blow up your system and destroy everything. So it's like two totally different ones, and obviously the one-liner where you destroy your whole system and blow up everything is just the most fun. It's just the most fun thing ever, and I just love that. So, yeah. It's all good. It's all good. All right, guys, I'm gonna shut it down for the day. I appreciate everybody hanging out. I'll be around next Monday. We will continue DWM-Titus next Monday, and then Tuesday will be Windows. We'll tackle Windows Util a little bit more. I gotta think of the next steps for WinUtil. I'll try and bullet point some stuff out. Today we kind of tackled Obsidian a little bit, and I really liked, appreciate shout out Phoenix for showing me that Git plugin. Using Git with Obsidian would be a first for me. And after, it was a little bit funky setting it up, but once it's set up, man, that's pretty cool. And I would love to use those notes in a public repo and just post it. And then I can put it on all my systems and just have notes everywhere. And I never have to worry about sync or anything like that. Git is pretty much ingrained in me now. So I think we can pretty much just use it for everything. And using it for notes is a great solution, I think. And I love Markdown. So even if I move off of Obsidian, I still got all my Markdown files. So I think we'll start bullet pointing, and I'm gonna try and use Obsidian before the next Monday's stream and have a more structured. So you guys know I'm lying. Hey, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. But it's not necessarily about meeting the goals. It's about setting the goals and then going, one of these days, we're gonna get some structure in here. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic to do the structure. Structure.